Go ahead, Mark. We'll have first question from Mark Bowman.
Alex, it's quite a busy day here. When you entered today, or even the last couple of days, what were you hoping to accomplish, and do you feel like you got close to reaching your goal?
Your trade deadline, you're trying to just make the team better, and you can have a list of things you want to achieve, but again, there's only so many players available, and you're obviously trying to line that up with what the cost is. So, you're looking to improve any way you can, whether that's bench, like we did, and obviously in the outfield, and also in the bullpen as well. So we were active. Obviously, a lot of clubs were active. This felt like one of the most active trade deadlines that I recall. Probably exciting for the fans and some of these big deals that went down. But we felt we were able to improve the ball club.
Dave?
Is there one thing you did not get done that you had hoped to do, Alex, today?
We didn't look at it that way. You just, again, the market's the market in terms of players that are available. So, you use this time to chase down all kinds of players. So everyone's engaged at this time of year. So, even though you're looking at guys on expiring contracts, things like that, it still gives you an opportunity to talk about players that, you can have for a long period of time. So, we didn't really look at it that way. It was just, let's try to make the club better any way we can. And as deals presented themselves, we tried to get them done.
Jeff?
Alex, you referenced some of the bigger deals that happen around baseball. When you look at like what the Dodgers and Yankees did, what's your view of that in obviously a much different situation here budget-wise? Yeah,
I think the Dodgers deal was obviously just exciting for the game, exciting for those of us in the NL East as well. So not sad to see those guys go. It reminds me a little bit of when I was in Toronto and the Red Sox signed Carl Crawford and traded for Adrian Gonzalez. At the time, those were two elite impact players. And but again, teams have made big splashes before. Those guys are great players. The Dodgers are a great organization. It doesn't guarantee anything. So you still have to go out and play, and things have to break right. And, we had a really active trade deadline in 2019 and got bounced in the first round. And sometimes things just break. So, again, I think it's exciting for the game. When you have big deals like that, stars are moving, and it's exciting, for the fans, I'm sure. But I know from our standpoint, when talent leaves the NL East, we're certainly pleased about that.
Do you just on some level sort of feel like you're playing in a different sandbox than they are over there? And then also, given where you guys are, having lost the players you've lost, is the bar different this year? Because obviously you're not going to – a lot of people would say you're not going to go all in to, try to win a World Series this year or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. Look, there's no doubt we've had our challenges. That's probably a nice way to say it. So, but, at the same time, every club has. And, the one fortunate thing for all of us in the NL East is that we're playing in the NL East in 2021. So that allows us all to stay in it and be competitive. But, the one thing is you get into the postseason, we've seen great teams lose early. I remember the Mariners team won 116 games that got eliminated. The Cardinals won 83 games the 1 year years ago and won the World Series. So I get it in terms of what you're saying and chances and things like that. But I think you have to worry about being able to get in first. And we've seen wildcard teams get to the World Series. You just don't know once you get in. You need to get in. So, there's no doubt we've had our challenges, but everyone in the NL East has had their challenges. And our focus is just keep grinding, keep trying to make the club better.
Gabe?
Yeah, Alex, Soler here has kind of had a power surge recently. Just, what do you like about him, and what's the role you see him playing on this team?
Yeah, look, he's had a down year by his standards, but he finally got it going, and he's got tremendous power, especially against left-handers. The numbers are outstanding. The power is real. Played some right field, DH as well. But he's someone that really like to use against left-handers. So talk to Snit about that, and we'll work through that. And but just someone that we think just having more depth, improving our bench. Finding that superstar everyday player right now was not available to us for a deal that we thought made sense. So if it's a matter of looking at some platoons and things like that and just improving our bench, we've been in a lot of tight games. and some low scoring games. And any way we can improve our offense, sure, you'd like to have the everyday player, but if it's with platoons and so on, and we make the club better, that's what we're going to look to do.
Charles?
Can you talk more about the decision to bring back Duvall and you know, what were your thoughts in the offseason about keeping him to start the year?
Yeah, so look, we said this at the time. We liked all those players we lost in free agency. We liked all of them. They were all good people in the clubhouse. They were all productive players. The reality was that, we, with the uncertainty going into 21, we reduced payroll. And as such, we had to make some decisions and cut some guys loose and, cut good players loose. And Adam's a good player. He arguably had his best year with us last year. So, the real appeal is that he doesn't have to play against us now. So we probably win a lot more of those Miami games if he wasn't there. Walt Weiss always talks about the former team card. And I told Adam about that today. He said that the former team card, it ended up hurting us a lot all those times we played Miami. But look, we really like Adam. He's a great defender. He's having a good year, great in the clubhouse. And we needed to improve our outfield depth. So he was available, and we were glad to be able to get him back.
Mark?
Alex, you kind of touched on it here with Gabe's question, but you also have some flexibility out there in the outfield. Could Jock play some center field from time to time? I know you said you may have some platoons. Do you just feel like you have that much more flexibility with your outfield, if nothing else, right now?
Yeah, I think so. We haven't really gotten into it. Things were moving pretty fast, and I was updating SNIT as things moved along. But I think everything's on the table. And look, we have the ability to platoon and so on. The other component is you get past this date, you can't add anymore unless it's release guys or guys you're claiming on waivers. Trade waivers are done. So there's more emphasis on depth because you can't go anywhere else. In the past, in the month of August, you pick someone up at the end of the month to help you out. So, we would thought about what if some of our current outfielders go down? What's the next line of depth that we have? Who's the next group of guys? So increasing that depth, especially not knowing what's going to happen for the next 2 months, was critically important for us as well.
Dave?
Rosario, you anticipate him being back and ready to play in a couple of weeks, or how long do you think, Alex? Any idea?
Yeah, so we're looking at, again, give or take, rehab assignment in about a week or so. So he's getting close. And again, he's been a really productive player for the Twins. Got off to a slow start with the Indians this year and was just starting to really play well before he got hurt a little while ago. But the bat started to come around. And again, an athletic guy, has a great arm, and he has power. So again, likely I would think sometime in the middle of August, like you said, probably 2 weeks away. But again, a really good, talented player that we're glad to add.
And also, Darno, could you see him being back in about that same time frame, or you have any idea how long he'll need to go out on rehab?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, he's starting a rehab assignment tonight, but the issue with him is he's got to get his legs in shape to catch, and he's been hitting and throwing and doing all those things, but getting your body in shape to catch, and how many days in a row? So until I think we get him to 2 days in a row on his rehab assignments, I think he's going to go 3 or 4 innings tonight. But obviously we need to get him to 9 and then make sure he can go back-to-back days at least, and make sure he's strong and ready to go. So, we'll be smart about it, but as soon as we think we can activate him, we'll certainly look to do it.
Back to Gabe.
Yeah, Alex, what did you think about what the Mets and Phillies did?
Yeah, so we were in our war room or whatever you want to call it, and I didn't want to have any MLB network TVs on and so on and get distracted. You're just so tight on time. So I saw some stuff here at the end. I mean, you can confirm this stuff. I guess Baez to the Mets, Gibson and Kennedy to the Phillies, Galvis to the Phillies. Was that it? I think that's all I saw. Yeah, so those are all really good players. They all got better. And I expected all three of us, with what the Nats did, and obviously we knew what Miami was doing, the remaining 3 teams to add to their club and get better. So we only play the Mets 3 more times. But again, we have to worry about ourselves and just start playing well. And we haven't gone on a streak really the entire year. So hopefully at some point our rotation's doing a really nice job right now. So I feel like if the offense can step up a little bit and adding this depth and maybe being able to score some more runs with the way the rotation's throwing the ball, hopefully we can get going.
Kelly?
Hey, Alex. Yeah, it seemed like everyone was pretty much in the market for arms and adding bullpen arms, especially. How did you guys narrow down your search and go the route you did? And how did that come together with Rodriguez?
Yeah, there's a lot of relievers that got moved, and we talked to a lot of people. And, I think it's when you're adding bullpen arms, when you're trying to separate them, it's not necessarily not all that easy to do. But we liked Rodriguez, clearly, and just a deal that made sense, like the fact that we have some control beyond the current year. We talked about relievers that had expiring contracts, but we like the fact that he's got another 2 years of control beyond this year, has experience, obviously, at the back end, can pitch the ninth if needed. I talked to him. He understands he'll pitch any inning, could be sixth, seventh, whatever it is. Just another good bullpen arm with experience to add to that depth, because as we know, there's certain days we have guys down that are just not available. We want to keep them upright. So having more quality arms and having that depth is pretty important.
Mark?
Alex, how close to that 4 o'clock deadline did you get to complete that deal? I mean, in other words, was there some questions about whether it might get done, and maybe even the Soler deal as well?
Yeah, I'd say we got it done. I think it was 4 minutes to 4, and I was checking if it was in the system, and so right around there, wasn't like a minute left, but I think around 4 minutes to go, I was waiting to see if it was in. So pretty close.
Well, how important was it just to get at least one arm? I know you got Noah coming back, and Mueller and Tucson have added to the depth of the rotation, and maybe giving you some bullpen depth as well down the road. How important was it to get at least one arm out there?
I think we wanted to do what we could offensively, no doubt about that. And our infield is set. Darno's coming back behind the plate, so outfield was the area to do something there. And bullpen, we definitely wanted to try to get a reliever. So we've been trying for weeks, but I don't know, these last 3-4 days we've been trying, and we finally able to get a deal done today. And like you said, the rotation, I know has come back, but also Ian Anderson's coming back too. So he's throwing and he's feeling great. So we're encouraged that he's on his way back too. But like you said, the way Tukey and Mueller are throwing the ball, with Anderson and Noah coming back too, hopefully that continues. But it's been nice. It's been nice, and it's if it continues, that provides us with really good depth.
Jeff?
Alex, I'm certain I know what your answer is going to be to this, but do you have, completely unrelated, do you have any response to the report that Marcell Ozuna's charges have been dropped from felony to misdemeanors?
Yeah, and you're right. You're very right. You're very astute, Jeff.
Thank you.
I have to give the same response I've given, is just everything. And, even in talking MLB, they've made it very clear that everything has to go through them. Everything has to be directed at them. Am I aware of the reports? Of course. Do I see the news and I'm aware of it? Absolutely. But beyond acknowledging I'm aware of it, I'm not permitted to comment ahead of MLB on anything.
Can you even say if you've had any contact with either him or any of his representatives?
I was told I cannot comment at all, that everything has to be directed through MLB. There will be a time, I'm sure I'll be told when that time is. We'll be doing one of these calls. But right now it's been made very clear that I'm not to comment at all. Sorry.
No worries.
Back to Kelly.
Alex, sorry, real quick. The last road trip, I know going into that one, everyone kind of understood the magnitude of playing the Phillies and the Mets. How much were you watching naturally the success of the team and weighing that out with what you were doing this week?
Yeah, I know there was a lot of talk about that. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but that's fine with people's opinion. I just don't, we had 60 plus games left. What happens in one individual series, sure, they're all important. Of course, you're playing the division opponents and so on, but I've seen teams lose leads in September. I've seen them lose leads with a week to go, 2 weeks to go. So I think coming out of the break, making the deal for Jock and Vogt, and I think I did one of these at the time, and I said pretty unequivocally, we're looking at. So there was no scenario that was going to change in a 10-day period, 2-week period. We just felt like we had a pretty good handle on our club and what the NL East was doing at the time. And even if things hadn't gone all that well, we've still felt like, you know, we had a club that had a chance to win the division. So look, the Mets have been leading basically the entire year. And we're the ones that have to chase them, the Phillies as well. But, you know, I think it's wide open and there's a lot of games left and, you know, things can change.
And we'll go for the last one to Mark.
Alex, I just want to know, were you on the record when you called Schultz astute?
My nose was growing. It hit the screen.
All right. Just want to make sure.
And there we go. We'll end
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys. See ya.